Hello students, I am Sunita Pawar, a lecturer of ENC department. So today we will do the revision of unit 3, that is therapeutic equipments. So on this chapter we are getting the question of 30 marks in part A and part B. So therapeutic equipment means what? Which one equipments are used in the therapy purpose? Those equipments is called as a therapeutic equipments. So in this unit we are studying these equipments only. In this, the first equipment that is the cardiac pacemaker is there. So what is the need of the cardiac pacemaker? The rhythmic beating of the heart is due to the triggering pulses that originates in an area of a specialized tissue in the right atrium of the heart. This area is known as a sinoatrial node. In abnormal situations, if this natural pacemaker ceases to function, or if the triggering pulse does not reach the heart muscles because of the blocking by the damaged tissues, the natural and normal synchronization of the heart action gets disturbed. This one problem we can recognize by monitoring heart rate and change in the ECG waveform. To overcome this problem, they are using the external stimulation. Means by giving external stimulation impulses to the heart muscles, it is possible to regulate the heart rates. Pacemaker is an electronic instrument which gives electric impulses or stimulation to the heart muscles. Pacemaker basically consists main two parts. First one is the electronic unit which generates stimulation impulses of a control rate and amplitude, known as a pulse generator. Second is the lead which carries the electrical pulses from the pulse generator to the heart. In the cardiac pacemaker, there are two types of the pacemakers are used. One is the external pacemaker and another one is the internal pacemaker. So in external pacemaker, they are used when the heart block present as a emergency and when it is expected to be present for a short time. Next one is the internal pacemaker. So internal pacemaker, there are used in cases requiring long-term pacing because of the permanent damage. Internal pacemakers may be implanted in the body. The patient is able to move about freely and is not tied to any external apparatus. So, what is the difference between the internal and external pacemakers? So, in this comparison, we should write minimum 5 points of the comparison. So, in this I given the total 6 points. That is the internal pacemaker and external pacemaker. In internal pacemaker, it surgically implanted beneath the skin near the chest or abdomen. In external, the pacemaker is placed outside the body as a wristwatch or in packet. Second difference, the electrodes are called myocardiac in the internal pacemaker. In external, the electrodes are called endocardiac. Third difference, it requires an open chest minor surgery. In external, it does not require any open chest surgery. In internal, the battery can be replaced only by minor surgery under the medical staff observation. In the external, the battery can be easily replaced in home by the customer or that patient. Last one, these are used for the permanent heart damage, but external pacemaker are used for temporary heart irregularities. So this one question you are getting for the 5 marks. The next one we will see the defibrillator. So defibrillator is related to the again heart only. So what is the need of the defibrillator? Ventricular fibrillation is a serious cardiac emergency resulting from asynchronous contraction of the heart muscles. This uncoordinated movement of the ventricle walls of the heart may result from coronary occlusion, from electric shock, or from abnormalities of the body chemistry. In this, blood pumping is not effective. This results in a steep fall of cardiac output. In fibrillation, the main problem is that the adjacent cells continuously stimulate the heart muscle fibers so that there is no synchronized succession of events that follows the heart action. Ventricular fibrillation can be converted into a more efficient rhythmic by applying a high energy shock to the heart. So, which instrument is used for the treatment of fibrillation? That instrument is called as a fibrillator. Means the instrument for administering the shock is called a defibrillator. The types of the defibrillator. The first one is based on the electrode placement. So in the category, the internal and external defibrillators are there. So these fibrillators, internal fibrillators, the spoon type electrodes are used, and this spoon type electrode is directly applied on the heart. In the external, on the chest, the electrodes are connected. So externally these electrodes are connected. Now the types of defibrillator based on the nature of the voltage applied. That is a AC defibrillator and a DC defibrillator. So first we will see the AC defibrillator. This one is the diagram for the AC defibrillator. So in this they are using the step up transformer. At the secondary of the transformer there is a number of the tapping points are available. So how much voltage you want to give for the patient, according to that you have to select any one point at the secondary. In the primary section of the transformer, they are using the switches. That is a S1 and S2 switches are there. So these switches is controlled by using the timer circuit. And also they are for the security purpose, they are using the fuse. So extend the high level of the current. If suppose the current is flowing through the primary of the transformer, then automatically fuse will be burned. So it controls the current. There is a current limitation is given by the fuse. So in this S2 switch is connected to the timer circuit. This timer circuit is operated by using the foot switch, and in this timer circuit they are using RC network or monostable multivibrators. So using these circuits we can control the time for the supply of the current for the primary. In this AC defibrillation, in point of safety, the secondary coil of the transformer is isolated from the earth. The disadvantages of the DC defibrillator, AC defibrillator. So first one is the disadvantage. The AC defibrillator will produce some undesirable side effects like violent contraction of the muscle and burning of the skin under electrodes. Second disadvantage, if it is used to correct ventricular fibrillation or successive fibrillation, then successive attempts are required. Third disadvantage, AC defibrillator is not suitable for treating atrial fibrillation. Next we will see the DC defibrillator. So this one is the diagram for the DC defibrillator. In this DC defibrillator they are using the auto transformer, and another one is the normal transformer is there. So why it called as a DC? For the patient, they are giving the DC voltage only. So at the primary, they are using the voltmeter, and from the mains lines, they are connecting supply for the auto transformer. By tapping the auto transformer, we are selecting the range of the different voltages, and that one voltage is measured by the voltmeter. At the secondary of the transformer, they are connecting diode, and there is a 2 points are available there, that is a point and a B point is there. So whenever the switch at A point, then from the secondary transformer, the capacitor is start to charge, and that one capacitor is charged up to the maximum voltage of the secondary. During the positive half cycle only, the diode is in forward bias. So at the output of the diode, we are getting the just only positive voltage, and using that positive voltage, capacitor will be charged up to the maximum value. When this switch is connected to the B, then the capacitor start to discharge through the patient body, and the continuously the voltage across the capacitor will be reduced. To slow down the discharging process of the capacitor, they are connecting the inductor in series with the circuit. So because of this inductor, the discharging of the capacitor will be slowed down. Then we'll see the advantages of the DC defibrillator. The first one advantage is DC defibrillator is more effective for treating ventricular fibrillation as well as for correcting atrial fibrillation. The second advantage, the DC method requires fewer attempts and less harmful. Next, we will see the comparison between the external and internal defibrillator. So this one comparison you are getting for the 5 marks, and in this question you should write the at least minimum 5 comparisons. So in first, that is the external defibrillator. It is also called as a automated external defibrillator. In internal, it is also called as a internal cardioverter. Second comparison, it is automatically applied an electric shock if abnormalities sensed. The patient who are risk of sudden cardiac death due to ventricular fibrillation. In this case, internal defibrillation is used. Next comparison, externally electric shock is given at a chest wall. In internal, the electric shock is given directly to the heart. Next, the voltage is used in the external defibrillation is ranges from 1000 volt to the 4000 volt. In internal, the voltage ranges from 50 to 100 volt. During the external defibrillator, the current passing through the chest is 10 to 60 ampere. In internal, current is 1 to 20 ampere. In the external defibrillator, they are using the paddle shaped electrodes, and in internal defibrillator, they are used spoon shaped electrodes. Next, we will see the hemodialyzer machine. So in this, first we will see the what is the need of the hemodialyzer machine. So what is the dialysis? The main principle of the dialysis is in acute and chronic renal failure can be treated successfully by dialysis. It is a process by which the waste products in the blood are removed and a restoration of normal pH value of the blood is obtained by an artificial kidney machine. And that one artificial kidney machine is nothing but the hemodialyzer machine is there. So using the hemodialyzer machine, we can remove the waste products from the blood. When there is a need of the dialysis, if suppose our kidney is not working properly, in that case we should use the dialysis. So for the dialysis purpose they are using the hemodialyzer machine. So this one hemodialyzer machine, it gets a question for the 10 marks, that is explain the block diagram of the hemodialyzer machine. So this one is the diagram for the hemodialyzer machine. So in this hemodialyzer machine, which removes waste products from the blood and it restores the normal pH value of the blood. If dialysis is used for a short term, then double lumen catheter is inserted into the femoral vein. If dialyzer is used for a long term, then an arteriovenous shunt, which is a permanent connection between the artery and vein. And this one connection we can use up to the 2 years. The arteriovenous shunt is opened and connected to the dialyzer. Using the blood pump, the blood is pumped into the number of planar sheets of cell phone or membranes which are passed together in the frame. Blood flows in the alternate spaces and dialysis flow in the others. When the volume of the blood flow through the space is very small, then arterial pressure is enough to maintain the flow in the dialysis unit where the blood pump is not necessary. The dialysis solution is nothing but the electrolyte solution is there. So in this diagram, they are using the blood pump is there. If suppose arterial pressure is enough, then blood pump is not necessary. Then they are using here blood pressure unit is there. That is the to check the blood pressure whenever we are taking the blood from the human body. This one is the dialysis planar sheets are there. So in that there is a dialysis liquid inlet is there, and other side there is a pressure monitor is there, the blood rupture monitor, blood detector monitor is there, and again here is a air separator unit and a blood pressure meter is there. So from the artery the blood is taken by the blood pump. So whenever we are taking the blood from the blood pump, then pressure is monitored. With that pressure only we should take the blood from the body. Then this one blood is passes to the planar sheet of the membrane. Then in this membrane sheet there is a alternator blood is flowing and alternator electrodialysis liquid is present. So from the blood which is the unwanted extra impurity is there, that one impurity is diluted in the electrolyte solutions. At here they are maintaining the temperature that is 37 degrees Celsius. So which one electrolyte solution we are given for the membrane, that one solution temperature is maintained at a constant. If suppose temperature is increased, then obviously number of the cells may be having the injury. So the temperature should be maintained. At the another end they are using the again pressure meter and blood detector is there. If suppose any one of the sheet or membrane is may have the rupture, so because of that rupturing some blood is mixed into the electrolyte solution. So that one quantity of the blood is detected in the electrolyte solution, and it gives the indication there is a rupture in the membrane. So we can replace that sheet. Next, pure blood is again is passes through the blood pressure. So before the give the blood for the patient, it's very important to remove the air bubbles from the blood, and with the particular pressure that blood is again given to the human body. So this one is the hemodialyzer machine. Next we will see the digital hearing aid. Hearing loss has a many forms. The most common is related to the body aging process and a long-term cumulative exposure of the air to the sound energy. These are the reasons are there. So to improve the hearing, they are using the digital hearing aid. And this one block diagram of digital hearing aid, it comes for the 6 marks. So in this diagram, the main parts are DAC is there, DSP, ADC is there, recorder, memory port is there, and a mic is there. So mic means MIC means microphone, ADC analog to digital converter, DAC means digital to analog converter, DSP is nothing but the digital signal processor, and REC means receiver is there. So main parts are I told essentially sound wave picked up by the microphone, and these electrical signals are converted into the digital form by A to D converter, that is a ADC. The typical microphone will have an internal noise of 20 dB. SPL when referred to the input and a maximum undistorted output corresponding to a signal of about a 90 dB SPL. The DSP is fixed digital processing device containing an array of adders, multipliers and registers, which provides the operations necessary for implementing various digital algorithms. In general purpose DCP, considerable power is consumed in executing the program instructions. Since the power consumption is a major consideration in the design of hearing aid, the wired program approach is used in this designing process. The DSP is associated with the two-port memory, which is used to store processing parameters that can be downloaded from the external programmer to the hearing aid. The signals processed by the DSP is converted into analog form using the digital to analog converter. The output of DAC is given to the receiver. The digital hearing aid is implemented with the CMOS technology. So this one is the explanation for the digital hearing aid. Next one is the solid state electrosurgical unit. In this, which one surgery is done, that is by the electrical signals only. So surgical diathermy means what? Electrosurgical unit is used for the surgical cutting and for controlling bleeding by causing the coagulation and hemostasis at a surgical site. So in surgical diathermy, the main used, that is the solid state electrosurgical unit. In solid state electrosurgical unit, the main parts are there: control panel, isolator switchboard, foot switch, power supply, logic board, power output board, audio tone generator. So the frequency which is used in the solid state surgical diathermy machine is the 300 kilohertz to the 3 megahertz. In this surgery unit, they are using the monopolar and bipolar electrodes. The heart of the system is the logic and control part is there, which produces the basic signal and provides various timing signals for the cutting, coagulation and hemostasis mode of operation. In power supply, stable multivibrator and frequency divider are used. In power supply, they are using the stable multivibrator and frequency dividers. An stable multivibrator generates 500 kilohertz square pulses. The output from this oscillator is divided into the number of frequencies by using the binary counter. These are the frequencies which are used as a system timing signals. The 250 kilohertz signal used for cutting is given to the power output where it controls a push-pull parallel power transistor output stages. The output of this high power push-pull amplifier is applied to a transformer which provides a voltage step up and isolation for the output signal of the machine. In order to facilitate identification of each mode of operation, the audio tone is generated with a different tone or with different frequency. So for the coagulation, they are using the 1 kilohertz tone. During the cutting process, they are using the 500 hertz tone. And for the hemostasis, they are given the tone of 250 hertz. The isolator switch provides isolated switching control between the active um, hand switch and the rest of the unit. The logic circuits are used to receive external control signals and to operate the isolating relays, which gives visual indication and determine the alarm conditions. The logic circuit gives information from the foot switch, finger switch, foot switch and finger switch and the alarm sensing points. The thermostat is sometimes mounted on the power amplifier heatsink. If the temperature is more, then it becomes a open circuited signal and alarm and interrupting the output. The output circuit in the dithymy machine is isolated and carefully insulated from low frequency primary and secondary voltages. In this surgery, the gases are used for the anesthesia purpose. Next, we will see the electrotherapeutic stimulator. So, the electrotherapeutic stimulator is nothing but it generates different types of the frequency signals. So, where it using this stimulator? This stimulator is used in the electrotherapy. So, electrotherapy employing low volt, low frequency impulse currents has become an accepted practice in the physiotherapy. This therapy is used in many diseases affecting muscles and nerves. This technique is used for a treatment of paralysis with totally or partially degenerated muscles, for the treatment of pain, muscular, spasm, peripheral circulatory disturbances. So in this electrotherapy process, they are using the different types of the waveforms. That is the galvanic current. Galvanic current is nothing but the constant DC current is there. Otherwise, interrupted DC current is there. Faradic is the spikes. Faradic pulses are used. Then exponential current pulses are used. Rectangular current pulses are used, and surging current is used. So to get these different types of the pulses, they are using the stimulator. So from the stimulator we are getting the number of the types of pulses. So in this electrotherapeutic stimulator, the main parts are free running multivibrator is there. So this one is nothing but the stable multivibrator is used here. The output of the this running free running multivibrator, that is a M1, is given to the pulse width circuit. The next one is the modulator circuit is there. Then periodic pulse generators is there, and then triangular pulse generator is there, constant current source is there, and they are using the resistive network to get the galvanic current. In stimulator they are using variable rate multivibrators to set the basic stimulus frequency. So they are using the variable rate multivibrator, and using that one we can get the different frequencies or one particular frequency. The output from the free running multivibrator triggers the monostable multivibrator, that is the M2 circuit, which sets the pulse width. So using the pulse width circuit we can set the width of the pulse. The output pulse from the monostable provides an interrupted galvanic output whose rate as well as duration can be independently controlled. The another stable multivibrator produces short duration pulses called Faraday current. The Faraday pulse generator. This one Faraday pulse generator, it generates the Faraday pulses. And this one Faraday pulse generator is nothing but the another one stable multivibrator is there. So for the modulating circuit the two inputs are given, first from the free running multivibrator and another one from the Faraday pulse generator. So here we are getting the modulation of the two signals, and the output of this modulating circuit is nothing but the surged Faraday signals are there, that is we are getting at the M3. The Faraday current are usually modulated at the frequency set by the multivibrator M1 in a mixed circuit, that is the modulating circuit for surged Faraday. Since the modulation of Faraday pulses takes place with a slow rate of increase or decrease, the output of M4 is the surged Faraday current is there. By integrating the output of M2, the interrupted galvanic pulses can be modified to have an exponential rise and fall. The shape of these pulses is similar to a triangular waveform. The galvanic current is also made available by suitable tapping of the DC power supply. Finally, any one of the waveform can be selected through a selector switch and fed either to an emitter follower stage in order to provide a low output impedance constant voltage output to a high output impedance constant current stage. Output impedance of a constant voltage stimulator is of the order of 100 ohms and constant current type greater than 10 kilo ohms. This stimulator is isolated from the earth, so it is safe for the patients. So now it's a revision of a third unit, that is a therapeutic equipments. So do the study. If you have the any doubt, then you can ask me.